Hello guys, welcome to your 28th lesson in this VueJS course. And in this lesson, we're going to be looking at making our page titles dynamic using VueJS. Without any further ado, let's dive right in. Okay, now if we look at our app right here, the page title that we have here, it just says Vite app. And you really do not want your apps that you build maybe for yourself or for clients or for some other purposes to just have this static page header. And let me demo this. When you click on the about page, we see it has gone to a different route, but we still see the same Vite app right here. Okay, what about the recipes? Okay, we still see the same thing right here, which is not what we actually want. And if we should look into our code and okay, let me increase the font size, and we come right here inside of our src. Oh, not the src but the index.html. We can see here that the page title is set right here and it is currently static at the moment. So if I should change this to food mode, okay, this could work. And now let's go back and let's see, automatically gets refreshed and we can see right here food mode. But what if we go to maybe the download page? We are not seeing anything, any changes right here, and that is exactly what we are aiming and looking forward to solve. Now there are some npm packages made for Vue to help you with this. The first I would want to recommend is the Vue Meta. And the Vue Meta is so popular and it is so much widely used, and we can see it's you can use it to manage HTML metadata in Vue.js components, and it also supports server-side rendering, okay, which is nice. And even Next.js makes use of Vue Meta inside of the framework. And if you don't know it already, Next.js is basically a framework for Vue.js, a framework built on top of Vue.js with additional features. Okay, so you can basically install Vue Meta and you can go through the documentation. It really works nice. And some other things you can set is the language. You can set additional metadata, which is really nice. Another is actually the Vue page title. If you're just looking, I think this mainly works for the Vue page title specifically. This is also nice. This is another solution you could make use of, but we are not going to make use of either of these solutions, okay, either of these packages, because I'll be showing you a way we can make use of the inbuilt Vue router, and we can actually do that without any additional or extra package. Now the first thing I want to do is, let me close this first. Now the first thing I want to do is come to my console right here, and we go back inside of our app, inside of our router configuration. I'm coming right here and I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom here. Okay, and essentially I'm going to do come right here, and before we this last statement, which is where we are exporting the router, and we're going to just tap into that. We're going to do something such as router dot before each. Okay, now this is basically a function that we can run. Okay, and inside of this we are going to take back we are going to take in a callback function. Yeah, so it goes like this. Now inside of the callback function we have three main parameters. The first is the to, the second is the from, and then we have next. Okay, and right here before the end of this particular function we're going to call the next, and just to let the Vue router know, Vue.js know that okay, we want you to actually move to the next thing in the router transition. So essentially what I actually want to do is I want to console.log to and also console.log from. All right, we are going to see this and why this actually is important in a minute. So I'm going to save that, come back to my app right here, come to the console, and essentially what I need to do is, okay, we can see it right here, but let me close this. Let's come to the about. Now we are going to see the previous path right here, that is the from, and it's going to contain all the information of the previous route that we are coming from, and this too is going to contain the it's going to contain the information of the current route we're actually coming to. Okay, so that is the to and the from. Okay, coming back here, we can see, okay, initially we were coming from the path / but now we are in the path about. Okay, if we go to recipe, we should see something similar. Okay, we can see recipes, and we can also see about right here because we are coming from the about. And if we go back to the home page, we can see, okay, this actually changes. So this helps us already in a lot of ways. And what I essentially want to do is something very simple. So I'm just going to do this. I'm going to say document dot title. Okay, it's going to be equal to to dot params dot name. Now let's see if this would work. Okay, we are having undefined here. How about when we come here, we can see undefined. Okay, that's not working as expected. Let's see. And let's just console.log. Okay, and to dot params. All right, let's save that and let's see what we have. Okay, we are not having any objects. Oh, that's because I made a stupid mistake. And all these routes we have here, these routes we have right here, they don't have any params. Okay, which is a mistake I wouldn't want you to make. So let's actually log this to the console. And we can log this to the console, but meanwhile I can just say to.name, and let's save that and let's see what we have. Okay, we can see right here it shows home. Okay, what if we come here, we can see about, we can see recipes, and then we can see download, and we can see contacts. Now this is making sense, and we can definitely agree this is better. All right, let me still comment this out. All right, the first thing I actually will need to quickly do is right here inside of our src, I'm going to create a new folder, or I could just create a new file and do something such as functions / utility .js. Okay, that's automatically create a folder. It's just a little trick in Visual Studio Code. All right, so I'm just going to say export const. We are going to create a variable. Okay, and the name of the variable, rather, we're going to create a function. So the name of the function is going to be capitalized, and that's going to take in a data, or let's say string. It's going to take in a string, and essentially what it's going to do is it's going to return string dot, okay, character at 0 dot to uppercase, and then it's going to concatenate that with string dot slice 1. So essentially this is basically going to capitalize the first word of any string it's passed in. Okay, so the first character rather. So I'm just going to import that right here, and I'm going to say import from, okay, and then we have functions and utils. So we want to import the capitalize, okay, function right from here. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to use a switch statement, and I'm going to show you the reason for that. Let me quickly show you the reason for that. Anyway, if we should come here, okay, let's do this so that we see that it actually works. So we're going to have capitalize, okay, and this should show home. And another thing is we can just do something like this, have a template string, and we can say capitalize, and we should have, or rather, let's do it this way. So we have our capitalize function right here, and I'm just going to use a template tags like this, and we're basically going to add this hyphen and then say food mode. Okay, this should work fine. This should work nicely. And when this loads, we can see home food mode and about food mode, then recipes food mode. Now this works all fine and well, but what if, just what if I decide to look at the recipe details, and coming right here we see recipe details food mode, which is not too very user friendly or SEO friendly, by the way. And if we should click on, let's say we come to any category such as seafood, I'm not liking what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm not, I really not. So we have this right here. Okay, so we need to create a kind of conditional statement which is going to check, okay, are we on the recipe details view, are we on the recipe categories view or page, and okay, if yes, then let's render this information instead, or let's customize this information instead. So we could do that, and I want to do that. You can make use of if else if statements, or you can make use of the switch. I just feel like the switch in this case is so much more elegant. All right, so we're going to have the switch statement right here, and the key is going to be to dot name. Okay, and we want to check if the value is recipes details. Okay, the next condition we want to check is if the value is equal to recipes categories. Okay, so let's see, just to confirm that again, we have the recipe, the categories, and the recipe details. Now starting to look nice, starting to look nice. Okay, and let's see, what we essentially want to do is, what we essentially need to do actually is, for this particular route right here, all I just want to do is console.log and then id, and for this we are going to say console.log and then two dot params dot name. Let's just use two dot params, and I want this same thing right here. So we are just logging it to the console, and if not, we are just going to console dot log, or rather, let's just do this. Let's change this directly, and I'm just going to cut this and paste this right here. Okay, so whenever we it's not, this condition is not true, we are not on the recipe details page, or we are not on the recipe categories page, that automatically would mean that we are not passing in params. Okay, so then that automatically means that we can just use the router name right here, and let's come back here and let's see. Okay, we are seeing this category seafood, and we can see it's not changing, but what would if we come to recipes? Okay, this is starting to make sense. But then another thing is, whenever we come to maybe any recipe details, okay, we are seeing the id right here. Okay, and the id is just, we are just having this ordinary string right here. Now we are actually going to make a bit of global change to our app, in the sense that wherever we are actually rendering any of these cards right here, any of these cards right here, wherever we are actually rendering it, we actually need to input the SEO friendly name, or the name of the recipe, in conjunction with the actual recipe ID. And despite the fact that this is going to break about one or two places in our app, I'm going to show us how to quickly fix that. Okay, so let's quickly come right here, and the first thing I'm going to do is inside of the component and inside of the cards. Now the recipe card is going to come here. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is right here inside of, instead of adding just the recipe ID, okay, I want to actually do something. I'm going to use template strings. Okay, and we're going to have this right here, and essentially I'm going to just copy this also, or rather let me just duplicate this. Okay, so let's paste this and add an hyphen, and right here we're just going to change this to strmeal, and let's save that and let's check our app right here. Okay, we should see this looking a bit more SEO friendly, but we don't want there should be spaces inside of our link. Okay, so what I just want to do is run a little bit of function. I'm just going to say dot split, and we're going to split all the spaces into an array, and then we're going to join it back with an hyphen. Very simple, just break and join. Okay, right here. Oh, I'm just going to make use of single quotes instead. Okay, and let's save and come right here. Okay, we can see this is looking better. All right, and let's also add that right here. So instead of having this to recipe one, we're just going to copy the all of these and put it right here. So let's save that and let's see what we have. Okay, now this is looking better. So let's see every of our other components, and I'm just going to come here. What about the food of the day? Now this is not working fine, so we just need to essentially copy this right here and come to the components right here on the partials. Okay, partials home food of the day, and I'm just going to search right here for 2. Okay, so let's just come right here and we just really much paste this here, but this is going to cause an error, so let's just copy this and put it right here, and also copy this and put it right here, and we're going to remove this. So let's see, hopefully it's going to work. I'm crossing my fingers. All right, yeah, that works fine. Okay, so whenever we click on a recipe details now, we get, okay, we're having some errors. Okay, we're going to fix that later on. So we get this particular info, which is really cool, right? So we can essentially come back into our router configuration and do a little bit of magic. Okay, so I'm going to first create a variable, and I'm going to say const, and router params id is going to be equal to 2.params.id. So we are getting the id from the recipe details. Okay, the IP of the ID of the recipes, and we're going to say const router params, okay, array, or let's just use equals to router params id dot split. Okay, so we're going to split this, and we're going to split it using the hyphen we used to join earlier, if you remember. And essentially what we want to do is we want to say document dot title is going to be equal to, we're going to use template strings, and first we want to capitalize, call our capitalize function, and we're going to say router params array dot slice, okay, 0, and then we want it to end in router params array dot length minus 1. Okay, and we actually want to do a bit of joining dot join, and we're going to join it with an empty space, and at the end of it we're going to add food mood. Okay, so let's save that and let's see the food mood details, the recipe details we can see right here. Now this is looking more SEO friendly. All right, so we can see, so if you want to add something else, maybe recipe, now that should look better. And for this, all we have to do is something much more simpler for the recipe categories. So we are no longer logging to the console. All I want to do is document dot title is going to be equal to, okay, template string also, and then we're going to call our function capitalize, and we're going to say 2 dot params dot name. Okay, this should work, and we're going to call recipe category, and then add food mode at the end. All right, so this should work now. Our route should work. We don't need to log anything to the console. So let's cross our fingers and try testing this out now. So right here, okay, this works, looks fine. What about if we come to this seafood right here, and we can say right here, seafood recipe category. Okay, that's making sense. That's starting to make sense. And what if we come to home page? Okay, we can see that works fine. That works totally fine. All right, and I think that basically covers it all. Okay, and in the next lesson we're going to be looking at doing a few fixes here and there, and I'm going to see you there.